Hey everybody, and welcome to the House Church video for this up week. It is our third week in our series Advantageous, where we look at the big themes in the Advent season: faith, love, joy, and peace, and see how they might spread in our lives throughout the whole year so that we would be at an advantage in our lives. So we looked at joy on Sunday, and here are my question mark, light bulb, and arrow to help you guys in your own discussion. My question about joy was, first of all, where do we think we get joy? Where does joy come from? And I realized as I was asking this question that all of us have an answer given to us about where joy comes from just from being in this culture. And probably nobody sits us down and says, "Listen, little fella, you want to know what makes you happy in your life? It's this." I mean, that just probably doesn't actually happen formally, but that makes it way more powerful. We are instructed in a million different ways where joy comes from. And here's what we have absorbed. And you can maybe talk about if you think I'm wrong, but as far as my perspective, I think this is just like how it is. We believe that joy comes when we have a desire, and then it's gratified, and then we get joy. So joy comes when we want something, we get it, then we have joy. So it starts out when you're little, I really want that toy, I want that rattle, I'm going to take it from my little sister kind of thing, and then you get it, yay, I'm so happy. And then it continues on with if I was more thin, I would really like to be more thin, and then you get thin, and then you're going to have joy, right? Or maybe if I get married to the right person, there's my desire, and then you get married, and then you have joy. Or if you get the right career, I want the right career, and then I get married, and then, right? So that's what we are taught in our culture, where joy comes from. But another way to say that is we believe, we're taught, that joy comes when the most important person in the world gets what they want. So it's totally self-centered. I am the most important person in my world, in my little kingdom. And when King Nathan in Nathanland gets what he wants, then there is joy throughout Nathanland. This is where we think joy comes from. So that's the answer to my question. My light bulb moment came when I realized that phrase, joy comes when the most important person in the universe gets what they want, is actually true. The problem is that we usually think that we are the most important person in the universe. We are on the throne of our lives. We run our own little kingdom. And of course, the light bulb moment is Jesus is the king. And so joy comes throughout the cosmos when King Jesus gets what he wants. Joy comes in my life when King Jesus gets what he wants. Joy comes in your life when King Jesus gets what he wants. So the way that we get joy is actually, it starts with who is reigning in our life. And as long as it's King Nathan ruling in Nathanland, and there will be joy in Nathanville, that's going to be a mess because it doesn't work that way. I mean, honestly, half the time we don't even know what we want. So we come to Jesus and we say, how about you be king? How about I be your servant? How about I be your child? How about I obey you? You tell me what I want. You show me what I need. I will obey you. And in that process, we find joy. This is really what we looked at when we looked at Paul's love for other people and his vulnerability and the joy that comes from that. It all starts with him surrendering and going, I don't even really know what I want. How about I work from the idea that I'm a servant for a master, and when I give the master what he wants, then I'll find joy. This is really at the heart of Christian thinking and belief, and my conviction is that behind so much of what is difficult for us to choose to do is simply just because we have the wrong king on the throne. So whether it's sexual ethics, we should be able to just do whatever we want with whom we love. That makes perfect sense if you're the king. But if you're not the king, and the king wants it a different way, then it doesn't make much sense. If you're the king in your life, then money is basically spent the way the king wants it to be spent. If Jesus is the king in your life, then you spend the money the way the king wants it to be spent. So whoever is sitting on the throne of your life is directly related to the amount of joy that you will have. Some of us, by God's grace, figure this out earlier than others, and we are able to surrender. control of our lives. But I would just encourage you to look really carefully at your lives and this idea that how many times do you have to get what you want and have it not give you joy before you realize maybe there's a different way to do this. Maybe the problem isn't, I haven't found that thing I want yet. Maybe you've got the wrong king sitting on the throne. So my conviction is to look for those places where I'm dissatisfied. And instead of going, okay, I got to fix that, say, maybe that's an area of life where I'm actually still trying to have control. And so therefore, I don't have joy. And if I were to put Jesus and surrender to him and put him on the throne there, then I might have joy. So joy to you as you sort this out, all the joy of the season of Advent. May you have a blessed house church. Grace and peace, everyone.